Welcome to Doc's Daily Dose for Dads, prescribed by Dr. Harrison. Today is my youngest son's last day of pre-K. Now, we start them early. We start them in pre-K at 3 years old so they can do 2 years, 3 and 4 years old, so then they go to kindergarten at 5, regular time, but they've got 2 years of school under their belt. It just helps with social skills, kind of being prepared for school and the routine and the instruction and the rule following and all of that goodness. The older two have been blessed with the fact that both years they've come back in pre-K, they had their same teachers. And my youngest, well, he wasn't as lucky. There's one of the teachers, there's a main teacher, Miss Bush, who was actually my pre-K teacher, my sister's pre-K teacher. My mom was her teacher's aide, one of my mom's first jobs, and she has now taught all 3 of my boys in pre-K. Crazy, right? But she has 2 teacher's assistants, and one in particular, Miss Stephanie. Now, Miss Stephanie has grown and to really have a tight bond with Adris, my youngest, and really love this kid. She states that he reminds her of her youngest child, which is a daughter, because they really like the same things. And my son has really grown to connect with Miss Stephanie. And when we brought him to school yesterday, which was a certificate kind of graduation type ceremony, as soon as Miss Stephanie told us a story that as soon as Adris walked in, she got all choked up and had to walk away because Miss Stephanie is leaving after this year. And she has a really close bond with Adris, and it really hit her heart that she wasn't going to see him again. And today when I dropped him off for the official last day, I said, we talked about it last night. Miss Stephanie's not going to be here for you next year. She's going to be doing something different. So when school is over, or I told him, so I want you to give her a big hug and tell her thank you. And he got all teary-eyed and was like, do I have to do it now? Can I do it at the end of the day? Just because he wanted to hold his emotions in until the very end. That's a real connection. And you know why? And what I want to make this video about, especially in seeing that today and yesterday? Think about your kid's schedule. Your kids spend most of their time with the teacher, maybe even a coach. I mean, for example, with me, my 2 oldest, we wake up at 6:30, get them in the shower, I make them some breakfast, mom makes their lunches, we get them all dressed, ready to go, and then before you know it, they're out the door by 7:40. They're at school. They're at school until 3 o'clock, right? We go pick them up. By the time we get home, it's 3:30, get settled, it's 4 o'clock. Now, when I teach, I usually have to teach 1 hour at night because it's East Coast time, and that usually lands right, around dinner time, around that time. So maybe from 5 to 6 or 6 to 7, I'm back here teaching online. And then they go to bed by 8:30. And then we repeat the cycle Monday through Friday. And Saturday and Sunday, we get a lot of time together. But during the week, it's really just a couple hours because they're asleep. They've got to get their sleep, right? Now, to the teacher, I want to tell you this. You are his second set of parents. They are with you 8 hours out of the day, learning, thriving, growing, evolving, thinking, facing obstacles, getting in trouble, succeeding, achieving. I need you to be there in my place for those 8 hours. I need you to love them. I need you to nurture and help them grow. I need you to understand that responsibility that you are like the second set of parents. One of the funny things is I've seen that too with a lot of the teachers. And there's, for example, Miss Bush, my kid's pre-K teacher. She does things like when she's out at restaurants, she'll pick up, pamphlet menus, or she'll grab little things at concerts or wherever she's at and bring them back so that the kids can play restaurant and have menus and actually serve and do, things like that. So I see that side of the teacher. And there was another story that I knew about, which was a teacher was, not really understanding what her role was in this child's life. And she kept having a kid who was falling asleep in class, couldn't stay focused. And instead of just thinking of this person as a bad kid and one who's not going to ever pass, what she did was she found out what was going on in this kid's life and that he was having to go and work graveyard shift before coming to school, wasn't eating, and he was exhausted. And now it was her mission, instead of worrying about, the history chronological timeline, to make sure this kid had encouragement to get through the day and the support that he needed to make sure that he could do all this stuff for his family and still succeed on his own. In her own words, she learned the lesson about what teaching was really about. Now, I'm not preaching to teachers about making this what your teaching's all about. All I'm doing is highlighting what great teachers do. The same thing that great parents do. They're there to help the child grow, to be a success, to be someone that is an upstanding citizen in this world, to be someone who is a leader who can think on their own 2 feet, who can maneuver obstacles, who can make things happen. Now, to the parent, I want to say this. I know not all teachers and coaches are created equal. I know that you may not like some teachers. Some teachers may be, excuse my language, kind of shitty teachers. I get it. I understand that, right? They aren't all created equal. But if you think about it this way, I would bet I'd bet everything I have that 100% of teachers got in the business of teaching for the right reason. Their heart was in the right place. Now, maybe they got lost along the way or a little jaded. But that's easy to correct course because their heart was always in the right place to start with. And maybe all they need is a little support from us in recognition that they are the second set of parents. Maybe by giving them that support, helping out with what they need in the classroom, being there to listen to them vent about things or share their feelings instead of always getting stuff dumped on them, understanding that they got to take work home, that on their days off, what they're doing is grading. They're thinking about your kids. They're attached to your kids. Those good ones, and even the ones who aren't so good, who want to be like the good ones, maybe they just need support and recognition that they're doing all these things from us to say, thank you. I understand how important you are in my child's life in the United States, where we send kids to school from 3 years old, all the way until they're, 22 if they go straight into college and graduate. And they're in the classroom for 8 hours a day. And once you add sports on that, now they're at school for 10 hours. Plus homework, now we've got 12 hours. Half the day is gone spent on school, right? So we have to recognize that as parents. We have to support the teachers that are teaching our children, who are helping shape our children to be better people. And if it's a teacher who's not doing a good job, instead of pointing the finger at them, maybe go ask if there's any way you can help to make that teacher's day a little bit better, to revive that teacher back to understanding why they started to teach in the first place. So, thank you to all the teachers out there. Thank you to all the teachers that I've had that have shaped my life, good or bad. Thank you to, we've been fortunate enough for where all 3 of my kids have had wonderful, wonderful, caring teachers. And I appreciate them all so much. My kids have not had a bad experience at school with their teachers. They just haven't. And I've been so lucky and blessed about that. And I'm really grateful for all the teachers have done in making their time at school be a second home. Because that's what it is. It's a second home. And I want them to feel comfortable in their own skin to be themselves. And their teachers so far have really done that. And I'm so grateful. And to those parents out there whose kids I coach, please understand, or even the graduate students I teach, I'm going to treat them the same way I would treat my children. I'm going to look out for them. I'm going to care for them. I'm going to love them. Now, that doesn't mean I'm always going to like every single kid that comes my way. And I know that might be taboo to say, but let's keep it real. You don't like everyone you work with. even if it's a customer or a colleague or a supervisor. But if you show them the same respect that I show these players with respect to teaching them the same way I would teach my boys, not just when it comes to their football. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about the girls or guys they want to date. I'm talking about the problems that they're having, the fact that some of their friends are starting to use drugs, or there's drinking going on at parties, or people are being accused of different things, or they're succeeding, or they're thinking about college, they're thinking about life and careers. I'm going to give them all the same advice I'm going to give my kids, with the small caveat that I'm going to tell them, this is, what your parents think is maybe not what I think, so I'm going to make sure that I don't step on your parents' toes, but understand your family and I both have your best interests at heart. Always. That's how I'm going to approach it. And that's how I hope all teachers approach it. And that's why I think we as parents need to support them a little more and recognize they are the second pair of eyes, the second pair of ears, the second mouth, the second heart that helps our children grow. So thank you, teachers and coaches. I greatly appreciate you, and I know my boys do too. That's Doc's Daily Dose for Dads. Don't forget to hashtag Doc's Daily Dose for Dads, hashtag 4D. Hit the subscribe button, little Renaissance man with his arms up. Make sure to check out Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music. If you can't watch the video, you can listen to it driving in your car. Go to the website, rebirthbx.com. Thank you again. I appreciate everything. I'll be back to you guys tomorrow.